Once you arrive, untuck your toes, take your hands underneath your shoulders, squeeze your elbows in towards your side body, and inhale through baby cobra. So nice and gentle here, shoulders back, pressing the tops of your feet into your mat, and then release. We're going to do that one more time. So inhale through cobra. See if you can go a little bit deeper, maybe raise a little bit higher. Hug the elbows in. Gaze looks forward. And release down. Shift your hips back, press against your mat, and come back to your tabletop. Curl your toes under if they're not already. And as you inhale, hover your knees over your mat, pausing for one full breath. On your next breath, raise your tailbone high, coming to your downward facing dog. Take a moment here to pedal out your feet. So bend one knee and then the other. Really working towards loosening up the backs of your hamstrings, the backs of your calves. And just take a peek at you guys. Looking good. Lengthen through your back. Press against your mat. And as you inhale, lower your knees back to that hover. As you exhale, push your hips back, downward facing dog. 2 more times. Inhale, hover knees. Exhale, down dog. Last time, inhale, hover. And exhale, release to down dog. Take a deep breath in, and as you take a breath out, allow your heels to reach the floor. On your next inhale, bend your right knee deeply. You can either stay with your knee facing the front of your mat, or take your knee slightly over to the left. You should get a really deep stretch there. And then release back through center, and then taking it on to the left side, so bending that left knee. And then again, you can kind of take that knee over to the right, just further and getting into that stretch. And then come back through center. And on your next breath in, take yourself back up to plank, and then lower your knees down for support. Breathe in. As you breathe out, lower your body all the way down. And curling your toes, press your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale through cobra. See if you can get a little bit higher now. We've worked out the back. We've gotten a little bit more movement. Breathe. And exhale to release. Curl your toes under, come back through tabletop, and then straight up to downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. So inhale, exhale. One more big breath. And release. On your next breath in, look towards the front of your mat and walk your feet to meet your hands. We're going to come to a forward fold. So I'm going to turn the other direction so you guys can see me better. But once you arrive, allow your knees to have a nice generous bend on them. You want your belly to come to the tops of your thighs, almost like there's like a little shelf that your belly's laying on. Let the crown of your head fall, and then stay in stillness or begin to ragdoll your body from side to side. You can grab on for opposite elbows or leave your hands down. And with each breath, see if you can start to lengthen through your legs, straightening through your legs. If you've grabbed onto opposite elbows, hands down onto your mat, inhale, half lift. So hands are going to come to shins or upper thighs. Push against your legs, really lengthen through your back. Gaze looks down. exhale to release. And then slowly, with control, begin to roll your body up, stacking one vertebra at a time. And go slower than you want to go. Really allow your body to feel each movement. And then when you arrive at the top, big shoulder roll, shoulders up towards your ears, open up, palms to the front. Bringing your feet either together or keeping them at hips with distance. Inhale, arms up towards the sky, palms touch. And exhale, hands down to your heart. Inhale, send your fingertips high, grab onto your right wrist, and exhale, crescent moons. You're going to take a bend over to the side. You can bump that right hip out a little bit to give yourself some more space. Hip bones are going to face forward, relax your shoulders. Think breath in, and each breath out a little bit deeper. And inhale will bring you back up. And then exhale that switch. So grabbing onto the left wrist, inhale for length, and exhale, deepening into our side bend. About 3 breaths here. If you notice that that top arm is starting to collapse forward, just keep everything open and bright. And then release back up through center. Exhale, release your hands down. If your feet are together, go ahead and step them about hips width distance. We're going to place our hands on our low back. Squeeze elbows in towards one another. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, puff up through your chest. Gaze looks up. And exhale, tiny supported back bend. So gaze is going to look at the ceiling. Really ground down through your feet. Imagine yourself draping yourself over a big beach ball. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, come back through center. Release hands down. Inhale, arms circle up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, pulling yourself down back to your forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release your hands, step back to high plank. Drop your knees for support. Inhale, length. And exhale, release yourself all the way down. Inhale through cobra. 1 full breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Release yourself back up through tabletop, and then taking your right foot, you're going to step it forward between your hands, coming into a low runner's lunge. So once you arrive, just take a moment to, again, work out any of those kinks. Maybe adjust that back knee back a little bit to give yourself some space. Make sure that your right knee is in line with your right ankle or slightly behind. You can curl those back toes if that feels like it gives you more support, or press the top of the foot into your mat. When you're ready, you're going to inhale, fingertips up towards the sky. Exhale, low lunge. So staying here, I'm going to again turn to face you guys. You can keep everything nice and lifted, or if you've got a little bit of flexibility in the hips, feel free to kind of let that hips fall in your exhale, so you can get a little bit deeper. Grabbing onto your left wrist, inhale, pull fingertips towards the sky, and exhale, bending over to the right. So again, just incorporating that side body stretch. Let's take another breath here. And then release back through center. Hands come down. Release your foot back, or your right knee back. We'll take that onto the left side. So when you're ready, inhale, step that left foot through, coming into low lunge. And then just taking a moment to make any adjustments. Once you feel nice and grounded and stable, you'll inhale, fingertips up towards the sky. Taking a couple of breaths here. Notice if your shoulders are reaching up towards your ears, allow the shoulders to relax. Bring the belly in. Should be a nice bend here in that top leg. And then grabbing onto right wrist, let's take that side bend over to the left. And just feeling the breath. Allowing yourself to go a little bit deeper into your side bend. And then back through center. Release your hands down. And we're going to step back to that tabletop position. Once you're there, spread fingertips nice and wide. Curl your toes under and inhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. Last time. On your next inhale, you're going to raise your right leg up towards the sky. Again, take those toes, dial them down to level out your hips. 3-legged dog. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, step your right foot in between your hands. This time keeping your back knee lifted. Pausing here in your low lunge. And when you feel ready, bring up to high lunge. So take a moment here again just to make any adjustments that you need. You want those hips to be level, high on your back toes. If this is too much for that back leg, feel free to put a bend in that back leg. It just gives you a little bit more support. And we're just going to align the shoulders with the hips. Breathing here. Breathing out. Grabbing again for that, left wrist. We're going to straighten up through the arm and exhale. Take our side bend. 1 breath here. 1 breath out. And then back to center. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, drop your hands, step back to downward facing dog. We're going to take that onto the other side. So as you inhale, left leg up, toes point down, 3-legged dog. Breath in. As you breathe out, step your left foot forward, coming into your low lunge. Make any adjustments that you need once you feel grounded. Inhale up to high lunge. Take a breath. And as you breathe out, settle into your posture. Again, just kind of notice what's stirring up. Are you noticing any thoughts kind of creeping in? See if you can, put those aside. Just focus here on this moment. Grabbing on for your right wrist, inhale, and exhale. Take a little side bend. Breathe here. Back up through center. Release your hands down and step back to downward facing dog. Drop your knees down to your mat and come to rest in child's pose. But 2 to 3 breaths in child's pose. If you need to get a drink of water, please feel free to do so. And then when you're ready, come back and join me into down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot forward, coming into your low lunge. Pause, breath in, breath out, and then arms reach high, high lunge. Stay here for a breath, and as you exhale, you're going to open up your arms to the horizon, coming into warrior 2. So just taking a moment to look at your body, your foot placement. That front foot, that right foot, the heel is going to be in line with the back arch of your left foot. You got a nice bend in that right leg. If you notice that knee trying to kind of push forward, pull it back. Stacking hips and shoulders, arms out strong. Breathe in and breathe out. And your next breath in, you're going to reach forward and slowly up and over, reverse triangle, straightening through that front leg. Right arm reaches towards the side of the room, gaze looks down, and then back through warrior two. Pause again for a breath. As you exhale, see if you can bend just a little bit deeper into that front leg. You're going to take your forearm on top of your thigh. As you inhale, left fingertips up towards the sky, reaching high, side angle.
It's totally symbolic.
Breathe in and breathe out, back to warrior two. Pause, and then cartwheel your arms down. Step your right foot back to your high plank, lower knees. Inhale, length. Exhale, release down. Inhale through cobra. Exhale, release. Curl your toes under. Inhale through tabletop. And then up to downward facing dog. Big breath in. Long exhale out. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Exhale, step your foot through, pausing in that low runner's lunge. So once you feel grounded, once you feel stable, you can raise the fingertips up high, high lunge. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, opening up the arms wide, coming into warrior two. So again, just making those little adjustments that you need, maybe walking that left foot forward a little bit, lining it up with your back arch, making sure you're not leaning too much forward, but your hips are in line with your shoulders, arms out wide. Breathe and breathe out. Next inhale, you're going to reach up and over with that left arm, straightening that left leg, reverse triangle. Nice stretch again in that side body. And as we breathe out, coming back to warrior two. Full breath. Full breath out. Left forearm comes to your left thigh as right fingertips reach up high, extended side angle, reach through your right fingertips, open up through your chest. Continue your breath all the way back through to your warrior two. Pause, and then cartwheel the arms, step back to your high plank, drop your knees, inhale, lengthen, exhale, release all the way down. Inhale through cobra, exhale, release. Inhale, curl your toes, shift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. 2 full breaths. One more breath. Looking forward towards your hands, walk your feet slower than you want to go to come to the top of your mat for your forward fold. And once you arrive, inhale, half lift. So pressing against shins, upper thighs, lengthen through your back, lengthen through your spine. And exhale to release down. Inhale, arms circle up overhead, palms touch at the top. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment here to pause, close your eyes. 2 breaths. Just finding that clarity, that peace, that stillness. When you're ready, open up your eyes. We're going to take a balancing pose. So staying in the middle of your mat, bring your hands to your hips, ground your left foot into your mat, bending your right knee, opening up the right knee to the side. Your right heel is going to come to your left ankle. We're going to take tree pose. So you are welcome to stay here and just bring your hands to your heart. You can lift that right foot up to your calf, or you can bring the right foot into your upper thigh. We just want to avoid that knee area. So wherever you are, once you find your focal point, go ahead and bring hands to your heart. And if you want to crank it up just a little bit more, you can bring fingertips up towards the sky, cactus your arms, and allow your gaze to look up. A further challenge would be to close your eyes here. So just take a few breaths, maybe work it around, maybe try your foot in different variations, whatever you need, kind of work with this. It's to your comfort level. If you fall out, it doesn't matter. No one's watching. I'm just taking a peek at you guys. You guys look amazing. And once you've taken one more breath, depending on where your hands are, go ahead and bring them back through center. Inhale, right knee comes up, and exhale, right knee down. So let's take a moment just to kind of shake it out a little bit, and we're going to take that over to the other side. So hands start on the hips, right foot roots down into your mat, left knee bends, and then opens up towards the side. And then your choice from here, wherever you want to go with your tree pose. Just find a focal point, allow yourself to breathe through the stillness. And then know your options. You can grow the branches on your tree. Maybe test your balance a little bit more. Wherever you are is exactly where you are supposed to be. When you're ready, you can bring your hands back to your heart center. And then inhale, bending your left knee, and then placing left foot beside your right. Go ahead and shake it out. And then hands on hips, you're going to step your feet into a wide stance. Inhale, arms out to the side into a T position. And then turn your right toes to face the front of your mat. Inhale, reach forward with that right arm. And once you can't reach any further, once you hit that little point of tension, tip your body down to come to triangle pose. So left hand's up towards the sky, open up through the chest. Right hand can be on your calf, ankle, or the mat. Gaze can look up or gaze can look down. And just think of this as a chest opener, as well as imagine your body between two panes of glass. So your hips not sticking out in one way or the other, everything's nice and stacked. Take another breath here. And a breath out. Slight little micro bend in that right knee as you bring yourself back up through center. Hands on hips. Turn the right toes in, left toes out. Inhale, arms out towards the side. Breathing in, reach forward, forward, forward. And once you can't reach anymore, tip your body down. Triangle pose on the other side. Imagine stacking that right shoulder in line with your left. So you keep the chest nice and bright, keep some space. Continue your breath. And then on your next inhale, slight micro bend in that Left leg as you bring your body back up. Hands on your hips. Turn your toes forward. Widening your stance just slightly more. Bringing your toes in slightly, heels out. Inhale, arms out towards the side. As you exhale, interlace your fingers behind you. Pull your grasp down as you puff up through your chest. And then as you exhale, hinging from your hips, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. You can keep your hands lifted behind you. You can drop your hands down onto your mat. You can also move here, so if you want to come and do a stretch on the right and then on the left. You have about 6 to 8 breaths to play here, so feel free to do whatever feels good for you. Maybe you do a variation of all 3. You can even bend one knee and then the other if you want something more fluid, something with more movement. Or you can simply just stay in stillness. If your hands are interlaced, go ahead and release your hands down to your mat. Walk your hands out a little bit in front of you. Inhale, half lift, straight back. Exhale to release. Micro bend in your knees, hands come to the hips. Inhale, back up to stand. Wonderful. Bring your feet back together. We're going to come to step at the front of the mat. Inhale, arms circle up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to release. Step your right foot, left foot back, lower knees. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale through cobra. And exhale to release. Keeping on your belly, you're going to uncurl your toes, press the tops of your feet in your mat. Take your arms behind you with your palms touching the mat. Forehead is going to come to the mat. And we're going to go through a couple of variations of locust. So when you're ready, you're going to inhale, only your legs lift up. 3 breaths. One last breath. And release. Next inhale. Arms and legs lift up. Gaze looks forward, shoulders back. Hip bones press into the mat. One more breath. And exhale, release. Right ear is going to come down to the mat. And then just shift your hips a little bit from side to side. Release any tension. And then when you're ready, come back through center. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, arms, legs up. See if you can lift just a little bit higher. Gaze looks forward. Continuing to breathe. And then release. Left ear down onto your mat. And if you want, you can bend at your knees and allow your arms or your legs to kind of windshield wipe from side to side. When you're ready, you're going to press your hands down into your mat, release up through tabletop, and back to child's pose. Again, if you need to wiggle around a little bit to get any tension or anything out of that low back. And then coming up to a seated position, we're going to transition with legs out in front of us. I'm going to turn this way just so you guys can see me. So we're going to work a little bit into the hips. So bring the soles of your feet together. We're going to come to bound angle, or sometimes it's called cobbler's pose. And you're going to hold on to your feet or ankles. If your knees are up a little bit higher because maybe you have a little bit more tightness in your hips, that's okay. Just work with where you are. As you breathe in, lengthen. As you exhale, use your elbows to press against your knees and bend forward. So we'll be here for a little bit, so feel free again to add some movement. I really like to kind of just like shift a little bit from side to side. You can use your hands even to kind of press a little bit gently into your knees to get a deeper stretch. And then depending on your flexibility as well, feel free to walk your hands out more. Allow your head to come closer to the ground. And then when you're ready, we'll release back up. And we're going to come to log pose. So you're going to keep your left leg bent, so your shin is going to be parallel with the edge of your mat. You're going to take your right leg, you're going to line your right ankle with your left knee and your right knee with your left ankle. Keeping your feet flexed. This can be a pretty intense stretch for your hips, so if your knee is more raised, that's okay. Just work with where you are, sit nice and tall. With time, that knee will start to drop. If you've got a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more space, and your knee does touch your foot, you can again just stay tall, or you can begin to walk your hands out, deepening into the hip stretch. And again, this is always a good place to kind of invite some movement here. Not everything has to be complete stillness. Notice what your breath is doing, notice where your mind is. See if we can keep that connection, that breath to body connection. And then also feel free to kind of come out of it, and then breathing in a little bit deeper to get lower. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up. And then we're going to take that right foot and place it on the outside of our left leg. Pull that left foot closer to your glute because we're going to come to a seated stretch. And then walk that right foot in a little bit closer. When you're ready, you're going to hold on to that knee and then just gentle stretch. Exhale, looking over your back shoulder. Make sure both sit bones are firmly on your mat so you're not lifting up through your hip, and then allow that twist to come from your navel. Using your breath, release, and then we're going to come back to unravel the legs and take that onto the other side. So right knee is going to bend, shin in line with that edge of your mat. Left foot is going to line up with that right knee, feet are flexed, and then left knee is going to come down towards your right ankle. And then when you're ready, you can kind of decide where you want to be. Maybe you stay up a little bit tall, maybe you kind of shift a little bit from side to side, or maybe you drop forward. We think of when we hold tension in our body that a lot of it is in our shoulders, our neck, maybe clenching, which is all very true. That is where a lot of people hold tightness and tension. But the hips is actually an area where you can also hold some of that emotional tightness, that stress. So this is like a nice way just to kind of loosen up the hips, kind of let some of that tightness go, especially if you sit at a desk all day. you're ready, go ahead, bring yourself up to release. And then we're gonna take that twist. So left foot comes on the outside of the right leg. We're gonna pull that right foot closer to our glute. Set ourselves up so sit bones are nice and grounded. Left knee high, grabbing on to the left knee with our right arm, and then take our twist. Another option too would be if you wanted your elbow on the outside of your knee, you can also press against your elbow. You get a little bit more stability to take that twist, but since we're just kind of taking this gentle, no need to force our body into something that it doesn't want to do. And go ahead to release back through center. Let's unravel the legs. Take your legs out in front of you and then just give them a little shake, kind of loosen up any tightness that you feel, kind of let that go. We're gonna move that fleshy area of our sit bones away. Sit up tall, and then exhale, reaching for our feet or ankles. Just a gentle forward fold. You could even bend your knees here, just to kind of allow a little bit more room if you're super tight in the backs of your legs. Keeping the feet flexed. And then coming back through center. We're gonna bend our knees, soles of our feet flat on our mat. I'm gonna turn just so you can see me. You're gonna take your hands and either your fingers are gonna face your glutes or away. It's just a preference of how you feel, what's more comfortable. And then as you inhale, we're gonna breathe up to a reverse tabletop. And then exhale down. So let's do that 3 more times using our breath. Inhale up. And down. Keeping the navel pulled toward your spine. One last time. Hold for a breath. And release down. Take a moment just to let the knees come from side to side. And then keeping your feet on the mat, knees bent, just allow your upper body to drape over your knees. Give yourself just a quick little rest here. Again, this should feel a nice release in the low back. And bring yourself back up through center, and however you would like to join me, we're gonna come to lay down on our mats. Knees are gonna remain bent. So once you arrive, tuck the shoulders underneath your back, walk your feet up to meet your glutes. As you inhale, you're gonna raise your right leg up and then cross that right ankle over your left knee. So you're gonna come into this figure 4. You can stay there or take your arms to a cactus by you and then begin to lower that right foot all the way down. So you're kind of in this funky figure 4 twist. You can even, again, kind of bump the hips a little bit over to the right to give yourself some space. And we'll be here for a few breaths, so feel free for your gaze to look up, maybe close your eyes. You can also take your gaze over your right shoulder. One more breath, and then slowly come back through center. take that right leg, take your foot up towards the ceiling, and then just give a moment to pause with the leg straight, maybe a little tiny bend. Maybe give yourself a little massage here in the back of your hamstring. And then release down. So we'll take that on to the other side. So left leg reaches up, and then left ankle over right thigh. Again, you can stay here or begin to take your twist. And then once you're in your twist, just decide if you want to keep eyes closed. You want to take your head over to the left. And 4 to 5 really nice long breaths. Just let yourself go, let your body relax. Come back up through center. Release your left leg down. Actually, let's draw that left leg up. Sorry, let's straighten up through that leg. Give me just a moment to bend the knee a little bit. And then allow that left foot to drop. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Little rock from side to side. And then one more big breath in. Raise your head up towards your knees. And as you exhale, release your body down, arms and legs down onto your mat. Taking any last movements that you need to take to feel fully comfortable on your mat. You can leave your hands where they are, or I invite you to draw one hand to your heart and one hand to your stomach. Once you arrive in your comfort of choice, go ahead and close your eyes, let your breath relax, and settle in. All your hard work is done. You've reached your final Shavasana. Maybe take this time to take a quick inventory of how you feel versus how you started. Hopefully you were able to get some relaxation, maybe get any of that stress or tension out of the way. The breath in yoga is one of the most important elements, as is the breath that we take for life. And I think it's kind of wonderful how the breath can do so many things. It fuels oxygen to our muscles, it calms our central nervous system. And when you use your breath to link that mind-body connection, that's the greatest thing about yoga. You can continue to stay in your final Shavasana. Or if you're ready, you can begin to invite some small movements in your body, maybe wiggling fingers and toes, and gently rolling out your wrists and your ankles, and then softly taking your head from side to side. And slowly begin to raise your arms up overhead and give yourself a full body stretch. So fingers down to your toes. And then gently take yourself to your side of choice, but pause for just a moment. Maybe drawing your knees up to your chest, cradling your head on your bicep. And then very slowly begin to raise your body back up to a seated position. And once you arrive, let's take a couple of shoulder rolls. So bringing the shoulders up towards the ears and down the back body. And 2 more times like that. And then raising your arms up overhead, palms touch at the top, and exhale, hands down to your heart. Close your eyes or bow your head. Thank you for joining me today and allowing me to guide you through today's practice. I hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Stay safe, stay healthy. The light and love in me honors the light and love in every one of you. Bringing your thumbs up to your forehead, breathe in. And as you breathe out, bow forward, namaste. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, my name is Nicole. We'll be here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to put those in the chat. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. See you next week. Bye.